So as Frédéric was saying, we've been kind of invited to present our views on how the investor community is perceiving the market research industry today and how this might evolve in the future. And in a nutshell, I think it's fair to say that the sector as a whole has had its share of turbulent times over the past 3 years, the same way a lot of other media segments have had this. The interesting point is that this has impacted the way investors, corporate, private equity, or institutional investors approach the sector, its positioning, the valuation, and also perceive the consolidation play, because there is one undeniably in the sector over the next 5 to 6 years.
The market research industry has had a very impressive track record pre the 2008 recession. The industry was growing at about 5% per year. That's above GDP growth, and that's also above the hard market growth. So that was the pattern before, and as you can see in 2001, the industry kept growing despite the recession. Market research only accounts for now for about 4% of global communication spending, whereas advertising is more than, well, about 2/3 of global spending. So we thought it would be kind of a small piece. We also thought that because market research is all about insights, it's actually during a crisis that companies, advertisers, marketers need more insight. So in reality, the industry suffered much more than we anticipated. However, and that's the post-recession world, I hope, in which we're living, is that I believe that the industry, and I'm sure that Alexander and Frédéric would agree with me, I'm sure the industry is now back to growth. As we were saying before, market research only, I would say, accounts for 4% of the global marketing spending. However, this share was only about 2.5 to 3% 10 years ago, and I think the share is going to continue to grow. And I think one interesting example is that Procter & Gamble, which accounts for about 1.5 to 2% of global market research spending, disclosed it in an annual report last year that it was actually spending $500 million a year on market research, which is, when you think about it, of course, is a lot. So now market research spending actually became a large part of marketers' spending, and of course, because it appears on their budget, it makes sense to cut into their spending. So that's one reason. As you can see here, marketing research, so basically based on innovation, new product launches, actually accounts for about 45% of Ipsos revenues. Of course, when you enter a downturn, and that's more or less what you can see here, innovation and new product launches programs are actually being held back. And this data shows you here the number of press releases that are related to new product launches. As you can see, in 2009, few product launches, therefore few innovation program, and fewer market research spending. The issue with market research was that actually large corporates, L'Oréal, Unilever, Procter & Gamble, were more focusing on the core brands rather than launching new ones, and we're also focusing on core countries. They also reset spending. For example, instead of asking Nielsen or GfK to provide a company with weekly data, they would only ask for monthly data. So all in all, that explains why we're actually maybe a bit too optimistic ahead of the crisis and what went wrong during the crisis.